Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Bovin. And do you ever sit and wonder yourself, what's it take to hunt Pennsylvania? Well, tonight we're definitely going to find out the answer to that. If this is your first time tuning into the show, thank you for tuning in. Each week we cover a new state. This week we're in Pennsylvania. We do a live show on our YouTube channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I mentioned, we do a new state a week. If you also have any comments, questions, or anything like that, feel free to drop them in the comment section and we'll pop them out during the show and answer them and go with it. Have fun with it. We also have a saying on the show, put your cord in a slot machine. What we simply mean by that is to help share a show. We strongly believe that hunting is a dying sport. It's a dying lifestyle. So all we ask is for you to help share a show, help us get one new friend. That's all we ask. Couple of housekeeping notes here. If you use the code GP10, GP10, you get 10% discount off Gilly Puck products. Also, make sure to check out MAGNUS Broadheads and Grizz Media. All right, I'm done with the intro. That was boring. I hate doing it. We all know that. And let's just get into it. I do have some housekeeping notes, though. We'll save it for the end of it because tonight's going to be our last show for about a week. So we'll get more into that at the end of the show because we all don't want to listen to that here now. We all want to get into our guest. I'm excited for him. He's a part of the Legacy Pursuit team, and they're basically like family here with Whitetail Advantage. I love all those guys there. So as soon as I saw what week we were covering Pennsylvania, I was like, all right, I know he's getting one of those days. So I had no question about that. Anyways, enough of me talking. Let's bring our guests in for tonight, and let's get it going. Also, I'm going to be doing everything because the Deucer is not here with us tonight. So bear with me for a second. Don't get all like, oh. All right. What is up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Brett?
Oh, it's just another day. It's the 26th of September. It's Thursday. And tomorrow is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Early.
Yeah, thank you. I turned 31. I feel old as shit.
We're
But
getting
my
old.
body and heart doesn't feel that way, though.
No, we're still young at heart. We got it.
Exactly. Well, man, for anyone that doesn't know you, can you give a little background about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, man. Yeah. So Tyler Wilbur from central Pennsylvania, kind of born and raised here in the great state. Really anchored my roots up north in Tioga County is where I kind of anchored my roots in the hunting and, fell in love with it. Me and my dad chasing mountain bucks, pretty much starting at the age of 12 till now. It's kind of been my early start for the most part. A lot of seasons of no deer kills, a lot of hunting pressure, but I'm thankful and humble to say, I grew up here. So it's kind of it for me, man. I just fell in love with the great outdoors and everything from trapping to fishing to hunting. Just being out there is something that I'm very thankful to do.
Those years where you don't get a deer, it's like, it sucks. Obviously, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't say I like them or I root for them, but at the end of it, I'm like, all right, that season sucked, but what did I do wrong? What can I do better? And I don't try to use that as a, like, oh man, I gave up hunting. Fuck that shit. I use that in any way I can try to be like, all right, next year is going to be different. And
right.
How do you, we'll start off here. How do you use those moments as not as a downfall, but as an upside?
I think, like when I look at a season in whole, I think I just look for any takeaway I can, whether it be historical data going forward to the next year. But I think that what's important is, sometimes you learn life lessons the tough way. And, hunting in Pennsylvania, that's one of the things that you kind of get used to. You run into a lot of BS out in the woods, but it just goes along with it, makes you more, resilient. But I think we have to remember what we're doing it for. It's not always to be wrapping your hands around the antlers for a success story. You know what I mean?
Right.
All goes into what you put out in the effort into the woods is what you'll get out of it. I'll say that.
I say this all the time. People look at us from an outsider's point of view that haven't hunted before, and they like, oh, look at them. They're shooting their deer left and right, and look at all these hunters. And it's like, if you just look at the archery side of it, don't get me wrong, hunting with a gun, in my opinion, it's the easiest part of hunting and with a crossbow, but we'll just leave that at that. Okay.
But go down that rabbit hole.
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, at least. But on the archery side of it, it's just so freaking hard, man. And for anyone that doesn't or hasn't done it before, you got to get a deer within 40 yards, and you're thinking, well, that's kind of far. And in reality, it's kind of not. But at the same time, these deer are created to evade everything that they possibly can, and for you to be able to put an arrow through a deer, it's the hardest fucking thing out there.
For sure. Yeah, they're just built on pure will to survive, man. They're at the bottom of the totem pole all around, you know. Them being out there 365 and us stepping into the woods maybe on a weekend or a couple day stretch, you know, yeah, they're definitely gonna know your presence if you're not prepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's ask this question here.
Sure.
I see you got some amazing European mounts there, and don't get me wrong, I love my European mounts. I kind of like them a little bit more than a shoulder mount.
Right.
For me personally, a shoulder mount worthy deer is like 150 plus. If I'm able to get that lucky, if anything underneath that, it's still a beautiful mount. But anyways, where do you see yourself hunting more? Public land, private land, a mix of both?
So this year for me, it's going to be actually right here in my backyard. Purchased a property, so I'm new property owner. First year going in hunting my own property, so it's a big year for me. I did do a little bit of prep in the off season, took out some invasives in my woods, just really worked on a very broad management, plan to start. So I kind of started, you didn't want to go in there and go hog wild. So that's kind of where I'm going to be anchoring my roots. I am going to be making a trip up to my cabin, my family property up north here in the later part of October and early November. I'll be up there hunting with Dad as usual, but pretty much up there we go into public land up at the cabin. We go into state forest, so it's kind of a mix of both. I'll be hunting right out in my backyard, you know, on my own property, and then when I'm not, I'll be upstate on state ground. So,
and this is your first year on your property?
Yeah, first year, first go out hunting my own property. So,
how's it looking out so far?
It's really good, man. Like I said, I didn't go in there and do a whole lot. My main focus was I wanted to develop kind of like a road system on my property that I could put. My big thing to do is making mock scrapes. So I wanted to be able to stage mock scrapes on some of the roads for the time of year when I'm typically in the woods, you know, later part of October. Like I said, when you can hunt over a scrape. If you find a hot scrape in October, it's hard to beat and pass up sitting on it.
How many acres, if you don't mind me asking?
1.
It's 1 acre. Oh, that's even perfect. That leads
one
right into this
block of timber. That's all I got, and it's just perfectly. I honestly thought I was like wasting my time, but after going in there, it's really located in a really good prime area for topography, and for it to make sense as far as deer traveling. We'll see though. I don't know. It's from what I'm seeing, I think a lot of it is during the rut. I think it's a rut area. I haven't seen many bucks on it, you know, this off season. A lot of does. So I think it's one of them areas and pockets of does that you find that, you know, once one hot doe gets in the mix, it's a buck parade, you know?
Mm-hmm. I also like to point out real quick and apologize. Yeah. I sound a little lispy. I had a dentist appointment yesterday, and my tongue, half of it is still numb, so I can hardly taste food right now still. So I apologize on that. All right, let's see here.
Yeah.
1 acre.
Yep.
That's obviously, it's a tough one to work out. But let's say this. A lot of people, when they first get a piece of property, in my mind, if I was to get a new piece of property, I'm not going balls out right away. I'm trying to ease my way into the piece as much as possible, because I don't want to go in there and like transferring everything around because I want to figure out what's going on the property and take it step by step, and I want to rush it.
Yeah. 100%.
How are you managing that right away? And then 2, what's it like this? Well, this is going to be your first season. But what's it going to be like hunting a small piece of property compared to others that you've hunted in the past?
So when I started initially, it was very I went in, I found a historical scrape, and I hung my camera over it, and that was it. And that was at the end of the season last year. I think that was beginning of December. And I just was taking inventory pretty much on seeing what's putting feelers out there, and I was very shocked. Like right out the gate, I had like a herd of does come through in the morning, daylight, everything. And they would come back and hit it and go do about their daily duties and then come back in the evening and hit it again, And right away I was like, oh man, this is going to be a slam dunk in the rut. So ultimately I wanted to create a habitat, and just right off the bat, this whole thing was left go unattended for years and years. So it was overgrow of honeysuckle that was probably 10 feet high. And I had to go in there, and I wanted to thin out some things just to give them some room, because everything was, I had to walk in there hunched over most of the time. So right out the gate, my plan was just to make, a road system, like I was saying, and then set, my mock scrape up with my camera over it. But, that initially is my first plan. And then for this season, really being such a small piece of ground to hunt, I am waiting for a prime weather day and optimum wind in my favor. I will not go in there with any question as far as the wind goes, because it will not take long. Even if them does get me, I am busted, and I might as well hang it up.
The Squatch may comment here. 10 to 20 yards is all it takes to send an arrow, and an acre is plenty.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, they don't go far if you hit them well. Right.
PSE mobile hunter with a communal scrape, you got a honey hole. Don't need 40 acres.
Yeah. It's if you are in the right area and you have a community scrape, or you can generate one. That's something I've been doing too, is generating scrapes, and it's been very effective. There's a lot of guys like Troy Pottinger. I don't know if you ever listen to any of his stuff. He's really good on setting up a good scrape and how to generate a good one. There's a lot that goes to it, and it's super easy, and it's a communication line in your local herd that's just always open. It's how they have to communicate.
When you say road system, what exactly do you mean by that?
So just like, I guess it would be kind of like a logging road, if you will. You can picture that. I cleared a bunch of the honeysuckle to just make a road that kind of makes sense. And I did it in kind of like a horseshoe formation to kind of come to, I know from just previous data, like what I've seen is deer love intersections. It's a very common ground for them to be, making a scrape. So that's like one of the things I wanted to, I guess you could say it was my inspiration to doing it, is I wanted to kind of make like a 4-way, traffic light with some community scrapes for the rut time.
No, that's a perfect set, because I have this one spot in the piece of property where I only hunt it on certain occasions, and it's down this little gully, and everything funnels through it. Like basically, let's say this: in order for the deer to get from point A of a food plot or their bedding or a water source, they have to go through me to get to any one of those.
It forces them. Yeah, that's nice.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. And it sounds like you're trying to manipulate the property the same way.
Exactly. Yeah. Like my whole thought was, okay, they're going this way, but I want to put them here. You know what I mean? What can I do to put them here, and plant my stand accordingly where my prevailing winds in favor, obviously. But that was my main goal, to do it on 1 acre. I don't know. I'm anxious to see how it plays off. My hopes aren't too high. You know what I mean? This is my first year going into it. So I think it takes at the very least a year to learn how your property is going to work, honestly. So we'll see how it goes, man. Like I said, my expectations are high. I hope, I've heard talking to my neighbors and stuff. They're like, man, there are some good deer that I've seen out in your pasture. It's like, okay, well, that's typically around the end of the October, and there's big ones around. So hopefully I'm holding the right doe with the golden egg come October.
Well, I mean, it also, well, let me get to this comment here real quick. The squat cheer, good move deer take the least path of resistance, and where trails meet is perfect.
Yep.
You have 1 acre.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the per footage, whatever, with a trail camera, but for instance, I have 8 trail cameras, I think.
Okay.
And I usually put it within about 60 yards from another trails camera or something like that. But with an acre, if I had that property, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna put one basically not as close to each other, but like in least as close almost as possible, because it's like, all right, I only want to hunt this, like you said, on certain occasions. But if I can get as many trail cameras out there, I can see where they're moving and stuff like that and get as much intel as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of how I have it set up. I clustered my cameras there. I have almost on every roadway that comes to the intersection, I have a camera to just, get a general sense. And then what I've been doing too is I'll take like the survey ribbon and I'll hang it on a limb somewhere in the trail camera frame. That way I can kind of see also, oh, the wind's blowing this way and they're coming, this way when they're coming through the area. And then I make note of that, obviously whenever I get pictures through, I have like a wind diary that I keep. So hopefully I'm doing all the right things. Hopefully it pays off, man. I'm looking forward to it though. I always look forward to, people ask me, do you kind of get excited this time of year? And I am itching to get out, but I really only start to get fired up like the 3rd week of October. I'm like, okay, it's about to be the time.
Right. Oh no, that's a great idea. I don't think I haven't heard anybody else doing that type of like flag ribbon type thing before. How long have you been doing that, and has it been working out great for you so far?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been doing that for, I don't know, at least 3 years. I've been doing that. It's one of them things that, when you get a good buck on camera, you kind of, one of the things to learn is how he's approaching the area. It takes the guessing part out of it, and when he's hitting the community scrape, it's blowing on the northwest, prevailing, and I just make note of that. So you kind of get to figure, okay, when it's this barrow, when the barrow's here and moon phase or whatever you look at, there's so many things that you can look at to, put into the equation. But I feel like the wind part of the situation can always be the most unpredictable. Especially in PA, there's a lot of terrain. So yeah, my Onyx app could be saying, yeah, it's blowing southwest, but I'm feeling it opposite direction. That's the thing I say to everybody is there's no guarantee in PA with wind direction. It can bounce. It's crazy what it does.
When people look at a trail camera, I think majority of people are looking like, "Ooh, that's a great deer," and they just see the deer.
Yeah, that's it.
But for me, what I do, at least with mine, and now I'm actually going to steal that idea. Thanks for that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I set my trail cameras up on trails, but I set it up to where I can see like facing a bedding, or I put the camera facing a certain direction, because it's like, all right, if I know they're going to be coming from here, I want to see which direction they go. And then I'm looking at the position of the deer itself. Right as soon as the first photo comes across, it's like, all right, his ass is facing west. He's going the other way. I try to read as much information as possible besides just looking at the deer.
There's a lot to it too. I'd pay attention to like their body language. Like if one photo, or I typically run most of my SD cameras, I run on video. I just feel like video tells me a lot more. Another thing I pay attention to is like their body language. If all of a sudden they whip their head and their ears are squared front, you anticipate that another deer approaching. Just stuff like that. I pay attention to, their body characteristics. I think personally though, like, I don't know what your opinion is either. Like every deer, in my opinion, has a different demeanor. and characteristic. Like I think you'll get them bucks that are like a hermit, you know, and then there's them ones that just want to brawl with everybody they see. You know, but like those things I pay attention to, like on a trail camera, how he's responsive with the deer around him, if there are any, or if he's just an old grumpy guy that likes to walk alone.
Well, no, I try to set all my cameras on video as well, because I want to see what's the demeanor like of the deer. So I agree with you 100% on that. And for instance, a couple years ago, I had this one buck that I called Joker. He just always had his head down and was just kind of, in my opinion, he was shy. He was one of those shy type of bucks. But then I had this other one I saw last year. He just was walking, and when he walked, every step he took, he was like, I own all this fucking shit. He was like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old deer, in my opinion, but he was like a 4-pointer. So he wasn't even going out past its ears or anything, just a little forker, basically. But he was so fucking fat, and he was old. I'm like, that dude runs all this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely bully bucks out there, man.
Yeah. Do you do anything else special with your trail cameras while we're still on that topic?
Not really, man. I don't really rely on. I have right now. I'm running one cell camera, and it's the one in my backyard, and that's crazy as it sounds. That's the only one I do. I don't cell cameras to me. That I think they're useful as far as getting live data at times, but I think sometimes they can be abused. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They the Squatch here made a comment. Mineral dripper bags are great for intel on deer in front of cameras if it's legal in your state.
It is. Unfortunately, we are a lame state and we can't do any of that stuff. All that stuff has to be out of the woods like 30 days prior to season start. So I played it safe, and there's not really, I mean, so one thing that I have in my favor on my property is I have a really, really mature beech tree there's beech nuts all over the place. I have 2 chestnut trees, and I think a couple big red oaks in there as well. So, I mean, the floor is covered with fruit. So, I mean, I really don't have to run minerals or anything like that, fortunately. I have run them though before. I've actually found a couple that were natural upstate. When I was up there with Steve Shirk, we ran into a couple natural ones that he showed me, and I was like, holy crap, I never knew these existed. But as far as that goes, I typically never run minerals at all because, one, they're a pain in the neck to get rid of, and you can literally dig it up out of the ground and you'll come back and they'll have it tore the hell open like a crater.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're a pain. So, I mean, it's the right way to do it. You know, it's the ethical way to do it. Fair chase.
Right. I agree with you there. Let me ask you this before I dive into Pennsylvania questions.
Absolutely, buddy.
How are you hunting Pennsylvania whitetail deer, especially with the type of topography that you're working with compared to, let me ask you this, let me rephrase it. How are you hunting Pennsylvania yourself, and how would you compare it to hunting a Midwest type of state, flatlands, like Illinois, Indiana type of state?
I think, so I go to my comfort zone is the mountains anyway. That's what I've been hunting most of my life. And how I go to that is I look on my maps, you know, I'll take a topography feature that kind of sticks out to me like a saddle. And that's kind of like my general starting point is I'll look for like a key topography feature, like a draw or any type of drainage off of a ridge system is good starting point to place a camera in them low areas of elevation just to get a general inventory. And then from there, I kind of target, you know, a buck that I find that I'm interested in chasing. From there, I'll go, you know, to a higher elevation and kind of try to pick up on some mature sign, finding a bed, a trail. And then, you know, optimally, I'm hunting a community scrape somewhere on the ridge. There will be one. There always is. So it's just finding one that they use. That's kind of like a general start for me as far as here in PA. But like I hunted Kansas last year, so that I was way out of my element. Flat as can be out there. I think food source is key. out there. Not that it isn't here in PA. In PA, I think a lot of people look for your big mass crops. Any oak ridge oak ridge that you can find that's, producing good mass crops. I think a lot of it is overlooked on browse. I think browse make up a whitetail's diet here. A majority of their diet is browse in PA versus, out in the Midwest when they have a huge, miles of ag field to go to and gorge themselves every night like steers. They're kind of different animal here. Yeah. And their size proves it too. I mean, they're massive. So I think, out in Kansas, I was definitely out of my element, and keying in on food source in the Midwest was definitely my approach out there with John.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure you had a great guide out there in Kansas though.
You know what? Yeah, he put me on him and we almost made it happen. But he definitely knows his whitetail, man. Out there in Kansas, he's the guy. I was hoping we were going to get into a brawl with the decoy and get some ground and pound action, but we rattled in bucks, man. It was the time of my life. It was an awesome experience to hunt out there.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this question here. For me, I'm going to go this route. I want to come out to Pennsylvania, and all I'm used to is hunting in a fixed tree stand on the edge of a cornfield plot. And I have some deep woods I've hunted in, but they're mostly just hills. Yeah. I'm coming out to Pennsylvania, and I know I'm going to be expecting some high elevation stuff like that.
Yeah.
How are you going to set me up right away? And let's say that, and I also have 18 years experience. How would you tell me to start hunting compared to someone that's going to be out there coming for their second year of hunting?
I would say be prepared to walk. I think, especially here in PA, you have to get away from the pressure. A majority of your hunters are still in the mindset, of let's all sit around a field and wait for them to come out. Not really taking into consideration with that. And if you're successful doing that, do you, by all means. But I think as a starting point, I would say be prepared to walk at the minimum 2 miles from access. Pack light, minimal. Make sure you have a good set of boots. But I would say setting you up, I would start somewhere like finding a bench system. I think those are one of the easiest things to find in PA on a lot of your public ground. They typically have logging roads. Clear cuts now is a new hot thing to do. So as far as looking at the age of the cut, that's another thing that's information's out there. You just have to look for it really. But any types of those, like a clear cut or a bench system on a ridge, would be a starting point, and I think you can find success in it. You just have to get away from the pressure.
Okay. That leads into a good question here. Human scent, it's a big thing, especially out there where you got your thermals just dropping up and down, especially the elevation type of thing. It's easy out here in the Midwest type of state. And yes, I consider Michigan a Midwest state. So anyone that says, oh, no, it's not a Midwest state, fuck you. It's right there. Anyways, that's a great question here with from the Squatch. What do you do to control your human scent?
Okay, so for me, I have a scent crusher bag. I typically give it a nice good wash, my camo a good wash at the beginning of season with nothing crazy. I think it's just the Arm & Hammer soft and gentle or whatever the hell it is. No fragrance in it anyways, fragrance-free detergent. And then after that, I kind of give it a nice little ozone treatment in my scent crusher bag. And then that is it as far as, unless obviously they're covered in schmutz and blood and stuff like that, I have to wash them. But when I do, it's with the no scent detergent. And then I typically use my scent crusher bag. But I use the shit out of milkweed a lot of the times. Your wind is everything. Like I said, in PA, your wind is everything. And I've dropped pieces of milkweed that get sucked down in this drainage, and a minute later, here it comes back up out of the hollow. It's wild what it can do.
Wow.
So I think, use any type of wind checker you can get a hold of. I think you're not going to beat the sense of a whitetail's sense of smell, you know.
Let me make this comment here from PSC, and then it's going to lead this into the next question I have.
Yeah.
PSC mobile hunter on public land here looking for browsed. That's been hit by deer as a must.
Yeah.
He also made another comment here. Baking soda and water spray bottle.
Yeah. I am going to try this year. It's my dad turned me on to it. Scent Thief. So it's that spray. I'm totally open to trying, you know, those types of things. So it's, from what I understand, it's a spray that disables the deer's sense of smell. It kind of makes it confused. It masks your scent.
That's what the PSC Mobile Hunter just actually sent me that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And told me about that product.
Scent Thief. Yeah, I've looked into it. So it actually was a chemical compound that they use to mask the scent of drugs. Believe it or not. So
what the fuck?
Yeah. It is for, you know, drug dogs or whatever. So they took that and it disabled the dog's sense of smell. So they incorporated that into a spray and made it into for whitetail. So if it can beat a dog, it definitely could beat a deer, I believe.
No, that leads me into my next thing I was going to ask and state was a dog, a German Shepherd dog, and they're used in canines as police dogs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A deer only has like 1,000 or 100,000 more scent receptors than your average canine dog. And I remember reading this study out of Wisconsin where they used this professional canine dog that's been on the force for like 10 years, I think it was. They took a guy that had no scent control, made him walk around in the woods about 200 yards, I think. The deer found him within, I can't remember how long, but I'm just going to say 10 seconds. Then he did another study with a different person and used everything scent control, basically showering and clothes and all this other stuff and the spray.
Yeah.
Did the exact same thing. And the dog found him within like 8 seconds. So that leads me to a question where it's like, is that stuff really needed? Because if a deer only has that much better, it's not that much better than a dog. And they're finding him within seconds, basically, of a guy that did nothing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, a deer's scent receptors, they're great to their sense of smell. Don't get me wrong, and their eyesight's amazing, and their hearing. I think the worst feature on a deer when it comes to senses, their hearing, because they can only hear as far as you and I as humans can.
Yeah.
And then it goes like their scent is their number one, and eyesight's like glass or something. That's like a question or a statement. I don't know how I want to go with that.
Yeah, dude, I actually agree with you. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff out there you have to take with a grain of salt. I don't think there is a chemical that you can throw that's going to mask your scent to a deer. That's why I think like a majority of it is the only surest way to do it is make sure your wind is good. If your wind's good, he's not going to smell you. You know what I mean? You can throw any scent on you to try and mask it up. I mean, yeah, I'm doing it this year. It's like, what the heck can it hurt? You know, as long as my wind's good and I'm taking wind into consideration over my scent control, then definitely.
Because you always see these new products come out there where it's like, this is going to beat the deer's nose. Well, this deer is going to beat the deer's nose. It's like there's 50 million fucking products out there and they all say the same shit and they're all not really doing the same thing.
Right.
It's nice to try new things, but
yeah, man. Fred Bear did not have scent control. Like he wore a plaid and, you know, I don't know. They probably did something that was really cool back in the day. Like I know guys they called it smoking their camo. They'd hang it up and they'd light some brush on fire and it would blow smoke onto their camo.
Yeah, like the Squatch, you just made that comment. Smoke your clothes by a campfire. Great cover.
Yeah.
No, I mean this dude, the Fred Bear goes out there in red flannel and jeans basically. And actually they here in Michigan it's 2 weeks ago now. They made a statue out of him up in the railing.
That's awesome.
Yep, it's on YouTube. You gotta check it out. It's only like a 20-minute video, but Ted Nugent was there, and he sang his infamous Fred Bear song, and it was amazing. So if you haven't checked it out on YouTube, make sure you do. But yeah, that's dude.
Yeah,
we are here towards bottom hour, so if anyone out there they want to call into the show, numbers up on the screen. Call in, talk with us here. I don't want to talk to you, so please don't call in. No, I'm just kidding. Call into the show. Tyler,
yeah.
Pennsylvania seems. I said this on the last show. Pennsylvania took over. I guess if you want to say it, the title of most hunters per square mile from Michigan. I guess that's a good or a bad thing, however you want to look at it.
Yeah,
How do you think of it as?
I think it's good. I think, if they're out there doing it for the right reasons, I'll say, I think it's good. I was worried for a little bit that hunting was becoming a dying art. But I think, as everything changes, I think it can get out of hand if it's not kept and done the right way. So, as of right now, I think it's good that people are getting their kids out and, away from TV screens and out into the outdoors and doing stuff and learning conservation and stuff like that. I think there are rewards that can be paid by doing that. But, again, as I said, you go to a public land parking lot on opening day morning, you'll probably be saying a few other words about conservation. So, it can be good and bad. You just got to have, if you have everything in place going forward through the year, you don't have to sweat it. You'll just bebob to the next parking lot down the street and get in there.
Yeah, here in Michigan, the numbers have declined at like a fast pace.
Yeah.
And I have my opinions on how I think they can fix it. Do I think I know it all? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think I have some great ideas on where they can start. I think the legislation, I'm just going to say the word government here in Michigan is crap. And I think kids, I'm going to leave that there. And I'll say kids need to get outside more. Everyone knows my stance on social media, stuff like that. So I'm going to leave that there. But what are you doing to get more people outside in the woods, or if friends that want to come and ask you questions, how are you handling all that?
I just get them involved, man. Like I have some buddies I work with. They have compound bows, and I'm kind of working there. They're like, "Hey, man, I want to shoot bow." And it's like, come on over, man. I have a target out back. I even have a tree stand set that you can shoot from a tree stand. Just getting people out there and sharing that passion you have with them. Like my daughter Peyton got to witness me taking a long beard last year in the spring, and she was super ecstatic. This year we went out one time hunting. We didn't hear any birds, but that's why I told her, I was like, this is how it goes. And she was very understanding. I don't kind of dumb it down for her at all. I tell her, talk to her like I'm talking to you. And just getting people out there and involved, it does make a difference. And it's those things that they can take away, like the kids, they can change a station on a TV channel, but they'll always remember, that best day in the woods with dad. They'll always have that.
You look at someone that's coming into hunting, and they're thinking, oh, it's just out to hunting. I can do that. But there's so many other emotions that go into hunting.
Yeah.
Of the ups and downs and the sad moments where it's like, oh, I missed a deer, or I took the life of an animal. How are you handling all those type of emotions where failures and the highs and the actual emotion of taking the life of a deer? How are you handling that, and how are you teaching that on to new people that are coming into hunting?
I think one thing is hunting, not just whitetails, but just being a hunter in general, is a roller coaster ride in itself. There's always going to be ups and downs. That's with anything in life. But ultimately, you look at the people who are most involved in your life. Whenever that moment of success happens, or even that moment of tragedy where you make a bad shot or you miss, and you lean on them people that care about you. And I think, like, ultimately at first, those are the people that I reach out to and just give them thanks. I ultimately want to thank everybody for supporting me and everything like that. My wife especially, she deals with a lot during hunting season. I drive her nuts talking about whitetails, but I lean on her, when I'm struggling out there. It's okay to hit a reset too. Just kind of take a day off if you're having a rough day or a rough stretch in the woods. It's always nice to just take a day to yourself and just hit the reset button. I think doing that, it can help you be successful and kind of look at things from a different perspective when you're not in a tree. But I will tell you, there are some times in the woods that you're up there in your mind, you really, really can soak it all in and be with yourself and just kind of find yourself,
No, I agree with you 100% on that. And there's times where I've eaten a tag sandwich or I shot deer and I just couldn't find them, or I missed them. And it's just like, and there's times, like I said, where I'm not seeing anything for weeks on end. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? And sometimes I'll take a day or two where I don't go out there hunting. It's like, all right, I just need a day. And my wife will be like, why aren't you going hunter? It seems like it's a great day. It's like, I just need a day. Something's not happening, and I just need to figure out what's going wrong. I need to get mentally back in it. And like you said, it's good to take those moments. It's not a bad thing.
No, there's no shame in taking a rest day and, just kind of settling down the pace and getting back after it with a fresh slate the next day.
The Squatch here made a question. What grain weight arrow does he use, and what broadheads does he shoot? And Tyler, you better say the right fucking answer, man. With the broadhead.
So I shoot a 100 grain Rec XP expandable. I also shoot the FX4s from them if I'm in some heavy brush. As far as total weight, I have no clue. It's a 340 spine with a 100 grain arrow. I'm thinking, I don't know. I have to be under, 470, I think, total weight. That's one of them things that I just don't pay attention to. I find a broadhead that I like the way it flies for me. I have an arrow that flies good, and I can put it where I want to put it. And that's pretty much what I pay attention to.
All right, I'll let you off the hook with the Rec broadheads, because I know Johnny from the team and the Squatch, they love those broadheads. I'm a Magnus guy, so
okay.
I won't kick you off the show right now, I guess. So
it's all right, man. I appreciate it.
PSE Mo Hunter, you're like all over the map here with your text because you are using your phone. It looks like so use a laptop. Anyways, no, I don't really get concerned more about like arrow weight and stuff like that. I figure out, all right, what's the length that I need? What type of broadhead am I going to be using? And it seems like nowadays where it's speed over weight or weight versus speed, everyone's trying to figure out, well, I want this or I want that. It seems like every day someone wants one or the other.
Yeah, it's a trend. It's a constant trend. Like there for a minute, it was like who can shoot the heaviest arrow. And then it's like now it's kind of going back to who can shoot the fastest arrow. And I don't really pay attention to that. Like I said, when it comes to that side of the thing, I'm very green with. Like I said, I keep it simple. Sometimes if you get too complicated, I feel like you can fumble the ball a little bit.
Yeah. And I think, what was I just going to say? No, I lost it now because I saw like a spider on the side of my wall here. I was like, oh crap, I don't know where he went now. So, squirrel.
Squirrel.
I apologize for that. Oh, my bad. Yeah, the Squatch here, he made a comment here. Hell yeah, I'm a Rec Pro staff, HXP and FX4.
Yep. I didn't go with the HXPs this year, and it's just the fact that I have a fresh set that is untainted. I did not lose any last year, so I kind of ate tag soup all around last year, so we'll see what the Recs can do this year.
Now I remember what I was going to say. Everyone got so hyped up about having a heavy arrow. They're like, oh, I need to get that through a whitetail deer. If you really think about it, it doesn't take a whole lot to get through a whitetail deer compared to if you compare it to like an elk,
Yep.
where it's a thick hide compared to a whitetail that has a very thin hide. So you don't need a lot of fucking weight to get into that. You just need something that's sturdy to get you through there, and it all comes off of how much weight you have on your drawback and what type of broadhead you're gonna be using.
Yeah.
And use MAGNUS broadheads or rack broadheads.
Yeah, or rack broadheads. No, yeah, I love Matt. He's a good dude. I'm happy to be sporting the Rex another year, so see what they can do.
Out there in Pennsylvania, it seems like it's more, and I say this because it seems like it's more of a blue state. So I think more hunting states that are more blue compared to red states. The red states, I feel like, have it all made out perfectly.
Yeah.
Except for Illinois. They have the deer system there is set up fucking perfect, and that's a blue state. Yeah. So that's like a weird outlier. But states that are more ran by like a blue type government,
yeah,
it's atrocious for the hunting conservation side of it. What do you see some laws out there in Pennsylvania that you'd like to see changed or modified, or I want to get rid of it, or what are something you just think?
Yeah, I think one of the most that comes to me is I would love to have Sunday hunting. If I had Sunday hunting, I think, ultimately it gets me out in the woods way more because I have Sundays off. So that would be like my first and foremost one. I think we're like one of the only states in this country that does not allow hunting on Sundays. So that would be the first one. I think another one would be, I think the use, I think there could be like a leaner law as far as, I don't think you should have like a corn pile, be able to hunt over a thing of corn, but as far as like scrapes and certain scents go, I think they could lighten up a little bit on it as far as, attractants, we'll call it. I wish there would be a little bit more of that. You're not physically placing a food source or a mineral source out there, but more playing it on their scent. I don't know. I could do with or without it, to be honest with you. I would love to Sunday hunting would probably be the one for me.
I feel like there's other states though that are out there that don't allow Sunday hunting, but I know Pennsylvania is one of them. But I think I just don't get why they can. First off, where do they think that they can say, well, you can't hunt on certain days? What if people only have one day off and that's Sunday and you're telling them you can't go hunt? I get it where it's on like the gun side of it, maybe where they don't want to, it's one day of rest. I get that part of it. But when it comes to the gun season, I understand that part. So I can see both sides of the coin. So maybe only do it during gun season, maybe. In archery season, you should be able to allow it because you're not making any fucking noise.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like we get one Sunday in the archery season and we get one Sunday in the rifle season to hunt. That is it. But it's like, what the heck? Just give us 4 more Sundays and that's the year.
Exactly. Like, I think that's the most asinine thing that they started, and I think that's more of a new thing lately. It hasn't been as of recent, right?
No, it's been as long as I can remember.
Well, I just think that's fucking stupid.
It is, yeah.
Again, some comments here. I'll get to these. PSE Mobile Hunter, Slick Tricks, Viper Tricks, Rule the World, and a bunch of emoji faces. Vital Ground Outdoors, FX4 and HXP right here. Another one from Vital Grounds Outdoors. I live in a blue state. Hunting is so mismanaged. And Ty, thanks for rocking the hat, brother.
Oh, absolutely, buddy. Appreciate you, Matt.
The Squatch here. Vital Ground, outstanding, brother. 2 more here. Vital Grounds Outdoors. In Connecticut, you can only hunt Sunday with a bow and only on private land. You can't hunt public. So dumb. So in Connecticut, it sounds like you can't do it either. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's wild. It's even the fact that, it has to be on private land. It just does not make sense. And it should not be allowed. I mean, it should be able to hunt. Sunday is your day of rest. If, with your family and stuff like that. I feel like that's a family oriented ordeal, is being in the woods,
Yeah, don't tell me when I can and cannot hunt. I basically just want to go out there and hunt just for the FU middle finger to try to hunt. And I hunt by the laws. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think that's just the stupidest thing, man. PSC Mobile Hunter, Michigan is totally jacked by our DNR. And he's speaking the truth right there.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. The Squatch. NJ is a no Sunday unless I'm private. Another state that's stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, New Jersey. New Jersey is crazy.
Oh my gosh. You just can't make this shit up, man. All right, Ty.
Yep.
Before we let you go here, I got a couple rapid fire questions here that I want to ask you, okay?
Send it.
All right. There's 8 of them. The first one here is, what's your line of work and what type of hobbies are you into?
So I work at an outdoor center, Shida's Outdoor Center in Lebanon. I'm just a sales associate, so I sell guns. My hobbies are hunting, playing guitar, just spending time with the family.
Playing the guitar. I thought about playing the guitar when I was little, but I just never got into it. My sister did for like a summer, but that was it. I cannot play a fucking instrument to save my life. I was the flute or the harmonic. It was the harmonic, that harmon like thing. Yeah, harmonic. I was into that. I wanted that more. But question 2 here. Yeah. You can only choose one. What weapon would you choose if the end of the world is here?
My bow.
That was a fast answer.
It's what I'm most confident with, man.
I like it. A lot of people have been saying gun. I get it, but no, I want my bow.
Yeah.
It's quiet. I'm not going to make any noise. I'm not going to alert anybody.
Yeah.
To me, that's a given. But anyway, question 3 here. What has been your favorite state you've hunted, and what is the number 1 state you want to hunt that you haven't hunted yet?
Favorite state I've hunted. That's not my home state?
Correct. I should reword that.
No, you're good. Kansas, hands down.
What
the experience. And then I would say looking forward to Indiana, which will be next week. I'll be there. So I always wanted it's a personal goal to punch a Hoosier tag. So
hopefully you get. How long are you going to be in there?
Only 4 days. It's going to be a rapid mission. We'll see what happens. I'm going up with the guys from Waterfeather. So we'll be up there. Me and John, meeting John Boy out there. I fly out next Thursday. So this time next week, I'll be in the air to Louisville.
Well, good luck with that, my brother.
Thanks, dude.
What animal is on your bucket list to hunt?
Alaskan grizzly.
There we go. Love that fucking answer right there.
Yep.
I've had 2 people say a caribou.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd love to do it. I would love to go for like the big 5, I think they call it, of North America with a bow.
Let's just say this. I'm not going to say where, but I have an amazing opportunity thanks to certain someone. And let's just say be prepared for the next couple of years with Whitetail Advantage where we're going to be going to go hunt.
Like that?
I'm just going to leave it at that. Question 5 here. Is there anyone famous or in your life that you'd like to go on a hunt with one time?
My wife.
Wife?
100%.
Does she hunt a lot, or?
We hunted one time together. I took her out rifle season, and I think it was like 15 degrees, and she just could not take it. She hasn't been back out since. So.
Was that in the dating phase?
That was the dating phase.
Oh, okay. She's like, nope, I love you, but I'm not going back out there.
Yeah, exactly. She still married me, though.
I told my wife on our very first date, I was like, all right, listen, I like you, but this is what you're going to get on me.
Yep.
In the spring, I like to golf sometimes, in the fall, I like to go hunt. So you're not going to see me 3 months out of the year. And on Saturdays, my butt sits in that chair and I watch college football.
There you go.
Other than that, you get me for the rest of the year. So she knew exactly from day one what she
getting into.
Question 6 here. If you could bring one person back from your family to hunt with, who would that be?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, she always wanted to go spring turkey hunting. Never got there.
My mom, real quick, she doesn't hunt, but she loves everything about hunting. Don't get me wrong, in the deer meat. She loves to track deer. And when I shoot a deer, she's like, all right. She's like the second or third person. First it's my wife, and then my dad, and then my mom. And then she's like, all right, let's go track. And I'm like, no, we're not going to track. And she goes, why not? Because it's dead right there. I'm looking right fucking at it. She gets so disappointed.
Yeah, man, they're a special person. That's how my mom was. She was very, very into my hunting adventures. She always supported me, and she was one of the first ones to call. So I do miss that phone call.
Yeah. All right. Question 8 here. No, 7. Sorry. And I really need to reword this question here. What is one animal you want to try to eat?
Damn, that's a good one, man. I would say moose. I've heard really good things about moose.
I've heard good things about moose as well.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty tender.
I really want moose now. Yeah,
that's on the Big 5. I think it is. Anyways, should be.
I think so too. Question 8 here, final one. What is one thing that you can think of that we as a hunting community should or could do to help improve the hunting community as a whole?
Oof. I think as far as just being unified, I think there's too much division across the board, whether it be what type of bow you shoot, or if you're a saddle hunter, or if you're, a permanent stand guy. I think there's so much scrutiny to the hunting world itself. I think, if we just stand arm in arm, you know what I mean, and just appreciate one another and be supportive of, dude, I don't care what you shoot. I don't care what stand you hunt of. Me and you share the same passion. And that's what this shit's really about. And that's why we love doing it. And that's, if we can appreciate that, I think we'd be a lot better off, man.
No, I agree with you there. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm trying to, once you said that, I wanted to look for this. I took a screenshot of it, and it really pissed me off of where, now I'm just trying to really quickly find it. There it is. Garrett posted a video on his YouTube. We've had him on the show here. And someone made a comment on his video, and it was, said, I quit watching. The typical deer hunter could no way afford that deer. Good for you, but my pockets aren't that deep. He said, I am the typical deer hunter. I don't own this property. I don't pay for the lease. Work, dedication, and a little luck killed this deer, not my pockets. That picks off what you just said, because there's a lot of people out there, even in the hunting community and outside of it, that downplay all this shit, and they say these type of comments, and it's annoying. And wait for Garrett to stick up and say, that's hard work, motherfucker. It wasn't me paying for that shit. No, you're wrong. There's people out there that have the ability to pay to go to this, but a majority, 95-96% as hunters here, we are doing this all on our own, of where I'm living, I want to say living paycheck to paycheck about it, but I'm saving up every penny that I can to go out of state and to go hunt on public land. So for people to see this type of shit, it's annoying to me.
I agree, man. Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. It's not how it was. It wasn't about who could shoot the biggest buck or anything back in the day. It was, when you were driving down the road to check your deer into a butcher or a check-in station, you lifted the tailgate down and guys would come to the back and they'd congratulate you or shake your hand. That's what it's really about, that camaraderie shit. It's not about, you know what I mean, what you were just saying, like, we've gotten so far away from what the true values of hunting are, and we've taken that for granted over the years, that here's where we're at. And it's sad to see.
One day I'm going to basically tell everyone. No, I'm not going to say it. Couple comments here, and then we'll kind of close out for tonight. Vital Grounds, retrievable ammo with a bow. PSE 100. Johnny and I are going Indiana next year, camping and running and gunning.
Nice.
Where the fuck's my invite, guys? What the fuck? Vital Grounds here. Grizzly is mine too. Let's go. Dude, I really want to do that. That's my number one to do, and to do with a bow.
Yeah, with a bow, 100%.
Yeah, I just can't. Anything I want to do first, I want to do it first with a bow. I can't shoot a gun. I can shoot a gun. I just don't want to.
Everything with a bow. That would be sweet.
I want to shoot my first turkey with a bow too.
That's up there.
Well, Tyler, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. For anyone out there that wants to follow your journey and follow more about you, how can they do so?
Hey, you can find me and the guys from Legacy Pursuit on our Instagram. We have a YouTube channel as well, Legacy Pursuit. And then also me on Instagram. My handle is Tyler Wilbur 59. We're going to be into we're taking more of the cinematic route this year. So everything we're going to be putting, on the camera, we're going to be putting that out. So just stay tuned. We're doing our fall season madness. This will be the season 2. So we're going to be doing that, starting that at the end of October. So if you want to follow along, that would be great, man. Brett, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, man. And like I said, anyone from Legacy Pursuit, they're always welcome on the show. So
absolutely,
like
I always love it.
I knew you were coming on the show. I was just like, all right, hopefully he has the time to come on the show. That was my only concern.
Life's busy, man, but it's never too busy to talk whitetail.
Well, man, again, I love you. Love talking with you on the show. Thank you again for coming on, and I hope you have a good rest of your night, brother.
Thanks, buddy. You too, man.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, here. Man, like I said, anyone from Legacy Pursuit, they're always coming on the show. It's like a weird family part of the show, like the extended family here, and I love them there. They're amazing guys, and I just can't say enough good things about them. Again, though, Tyler, thanks again for coming on the show. I will say this here, PSE 100, bro, you were invited last week. You forget? Yeah, I forgot now. So I'm a dumbass. It's been a long week, so give me a break. Like I said, a couple housekeeping notes here. We're going to be taking next week off, and we're going to be picking up shows only on Sunday, starting Sunday, October 6th, starting at 8:30 p.m. It's going to be a roundtable type of conversation with everyone from the team here. And then we might bring on a guest, or we don't know. It's going to be a fun Sunday. We're just talking about whatever we want to talk about. Then that's going to lead all the way through December. We're going to take the week of Thanksgiving off, and the week before Christmas, week of Christmas, and the first week after New Year's, I believe, off as well. And then we'll be picking up new shows on Sundays and Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. So basically start on October 6th, our new time change are going to be happening. We're also going to be posting on Sundays and Tuesdays who our guest is going to be at 3 p.m. or noon. We haven't decided yet, and that's that. We're going to be making more announcements as they come along, so I don't want to bore everything right now. But with that being said, I want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in for tonight's show, and we'll hope everyone has a great weekend, and I hope you have good luck in your hunting season, and we'll see everyone on October 6th on a Sunday at 8:30.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.